Alright folks, I've concluded my watch along of the DCEU films with Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I think it's about time for me to rank them. Let's do it. Alright, so before I get started, if you haven't seen any of my reviews of the DCEU films, check up there. The playlist is up there. Let's get into it though, folks, starting with number 10.
Making you good money. How you
Sweet talking me. Alright, you get it. By far, the worst film in the DCEU is Suicide Squad. This is the film that I often tell people is my least favorite film, because it is. The film manages to do pretty much everything wrong. Whether it's the generic characters, the bad dialogue, straight up bad, the horrible plot, or actually hiring an editing company, a trailer company to do the editing for the film. This film is a disaster. It really is. People have said it before, I'll say it again. Awful, awful film. And to top it off, Jared Leto Joker. Nah. Coming in at number 9, moving from an F to a D, quite a step up, is going to be Birds of Prey. Unfortunately, maybe I should watch this one again because apparently a lot of people see something in it that I don't. But this just feels like a rip-off of Deadpool to me that does pretty much every single thing worse except the action. I have to say, I like the action and the choreography there. But uninteresting characters, a boring movie. And even, Harley, it kind of sucks in this film. Unfortunate. Coming in at number 8, also a D, is Justice League. The original, mind you. Because this film combines two, practically opposite perspectives of the same story into an absolute mess of a film. Each style, both Joss's, comedy and Zack's dark tone, work individually within the film. I have to say, I do appreciate both in their own right, but when combined, it's just an absolute mess. A disaster.
Tell me, do you bleed
while watching this film because of how bad it is? No, it's not even that bad. So it's a C for now. Obviously, watching this ranking, dude, I look ridiculous. All right, it's a C. I started as a C, moved to a D in the description. I don't know if you noticed. If you watched the review, I moved down a grade up to a C back for now, just because I really like the dark tones with it, the dark exploration. It's a nice difference from a lot of the superhero films we get these days, but often it goes too far on that front, too edgy, and then in an attempt to differentiate itself. Unfortunately, the final hour just crumbles the whole thing. You have the super generic final battle, a lot of setup for the future of the DCEU, which should not be the primary focus of this film. Takes a lot of the enthusiasm out for it. Coming in at number 6 has to be Wonder Woman 84. There's some fun to be had here. It's a very ridiculous premise, and there's just so much cheesiness in here. It's oozing cheese. But I think that in general, a ridiculous film, very long, very boring at times, and the premise both does it favors in the fun aspects of it, but it's also just makes it sort of a less interesting. Moving into the top 5 with another she film for you, like my little spit curl. Superman, Man of Steel. I'd say this is probably the definition of meh, to be honest with you. There's so much action in this film, and it's like half the film is action, and it really just takes away from what otherwise would be really sweet and nice character moments that the film was seemingly building towards. You have really long extended scenes of, again, just action, repeatedly punching one another, endless destruction, and it makes it a very, very ordinary superhero film. Number 4, Aquaman. This one finishes, the C tier, but I do have to say, so it's a very silly film, right? And that is by design. It's often both intentionally and more often unintentionally funny. And there's so much good about it, whether it be the action or, again, just the tone. It knows what it's doing with the character of Aquaman, but the film just feels so damn long, and packed often, whether it's two villains or all these different genres compiled into this one film. And it's also, the silliness becomes too much throughout. Coming in at number 3 and entering the B tier has to be Wonder Woman. I have these luscious locks to review, to mention, to talk about, not either review or mention. Let me get, enough. So this film does nothing wrong, to be honest with you. There's some great action here, some great comedy here, and some excellent chemistry between Steve and Diana. But the World War I setting is also just a really great place to explore the character of Wonder Woman. But I think that, most of the film is really just a typical superhero film. It does nothing extraordinary to break out the boundaries, but it's a perfectly solid film that I have no problem watching. Now, folks, I know what you're thinking. We're at the top 2 now, and you're wondering, Shazam, Zack Snyder's Justice League. At number 2, I am going to put Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, I'll say the best moments of this film are easily some of the best in the franchise. Not even close. But this film, suffers from a problem in the main one for sure, but it's more clearly shown here, and especially because of the runtime, the setup, the fact that they need to set up 3 main characters as well as this very complicated premise all in the span of this one, which is supposed to be, an event film about the Justice League meeting, teaming up. But they actually have to introduce these characters to the audience first and foremost, and it doesn't create for an experience that flows well, right? It feels very divided into 2 parts, really clunky. And that's, again, the main problem with the film, and it can just be so boring. You have these extended sequences that are trying to introduce the characters, which if they were in solo films, it would be fine. There would be no complaint. But seeing as it's in this team-up film, which already has so much to do, you're putting more on its plate when it's already full, right? And that's just the main problem. And the fact that it is 4 hours is laughable. This film does not warrant a 4-hour runtime, and it frankly should have been less. But it does need that setup. It's just an unfortunate side effect of the film. I will say this film is still absolutely epic, hence why it is number 2. There's just so much I love about it, and when the more I think about it, the more I like it, because I think, I'm choosing to focus on that stuff that is really good, especially that final battle is absolutely incredible. There's so much great here, and I think considering its recency, it could either go up or down or just stay here. But for now, folks, it is a B.
Shazam!
Don't know what that was, but coming in at number 1, of course, has to be Shazam. This is one of the funniest superhero films I've seen. Such a great premise that, it really embodies superhero fun, the genre, and how much fun you can have with it. Sort of correcting Wonder Woman 84's error. Maybe they should have taken some notes from this one. The dynamic between the characters is just really excellent, and it has a strong emotional backbone to top it off with, envy and being wanted, and, something that everyone to some extent can relate to. And the comedy is just the best part about this film, and the acting, the dynamic tie into that. So this film, just being so much fun and doing so little wrong, has to give it the number 1 spot. It earned it. Alright, folks, there's my list. Unfortunately, you just watched it, so you know how lopsided it is in the negative direction, unfortunately. So I hope that the DCEU can change that around in its near future. The next one is, of course, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, and I expect that film to be very good. So, maybe 2021 is the year where DC started turning things around. That's what it'll be remembered as, hopefully. But, folks, I've been EDPC Reviews. You've been amazing. Come back, join me when the Suicide Squad comes out, and check out some of the other videos on this channel. I have everything you could want, I imagine. What more could you want? I'm sure you'll find something for you here. Alright, so check it out. You sweet talking me. I used that gag already. If you thought it was funny, let me know down below. If you hated it, let me know down below. Subscribe if you want to. Hit the bell. I'm EDPC Reviews. You have been amazing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.